Hi, my name's Sol, this is my allotment, and welcome to Solotment. And today, we're mainly planting leeks. Right, so let's get straight down to business. Now, I mentioned before that when I do allotments, I try to look at it from an artistic point of view. So it's a functional, let's provide food for the family scenario, but for me, it's also a little bit of a statement to come in my garden, look at my big veg. We like to have a few barbecues and a couple of gatherings, and it's nice to be surrounded by good things growing. Right, so this particular bed is the first one that you come as you walk into my garden, and for that reason I've decided to make a bit of a few extra specimen vegetables here. You can see two fantastic specimen leeks here that have been potted on, grown from leeks as thin as a shoelace. They've been moved on through pots, we call that potting on, till eventually they're in these biggish pots, they're now ready to go outside. So these leeks will be thick end of 5 to 7 months old. And I'm going to put them right in the middle of my beds here, so that when people arrive at my allotment, they go, nice leeks, sir, and I'll be very proud of them. So I turn my leeks upside down. I've already dug a hole there. I'm into symmetry, so I'm going to turn the side on. Okay, I don't want any wonky leaves or anything like that, so I want the veg to its branches to go either side. I've dug the hole. I'm going to chuck a bit of loose soil back in because I want the top of this leek just to stand level with the surface of the ground. And as you can see, absolute corkers here. There's another little thing that I need to let you know about. These leeks actually were started at the exact same time as this one. The only thing that's slightly different is these two leeks have been read Welsh poetry. So I've been reading poetry to them now most nights for about the last 5 months. See the benefits of that Welsh poetry in terms of the development of the leek. There we go. So that's going to get about as thick as my thigh within about 5 months. That's what we call a competition leek. It's an utter specimen, as you can see. Not particularly for eating. It's a show leek, really. So I'll also put another hole in the back there. So I'm going to make this bed very decorative. To give the garden that wow factor. And consequently, this bed last year was home to some Durham early cabbage, a brassica. These are root vegetables, and a root vegetable should follow a brassica to get the best nutrients out of the soil and also to prevent disease. So they're absolutely beautiful specimens here. Okay, right, now we're starting to plant for the table. I'm looking for my dibber. Now this is quite unusual what I'm about to show you. I put my lines in, as I've mentioned before. I do kind of like symmetry, and all I do is I make a cone shape, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the leek into it. There you go. I'm not even going to infill it, and you'll see why I do that in a moment. Okay, I'll put my line back in, and then I'm just going to run down. I've spaced them out evenly every 6. I drop it in, and I don't infill. Okay, the reason for that is when I finish the whole process, I'm going to flood the leek bed. I'm going to flood it, and as the soil falls into the hole, it will give the leek as much water as possible. Okay, so in effect what I'm doing is I'm kind of making a little cup for the leek to sit in, because they do like water. 1, 2, 4. There we go. and you can see that fine worm there. That shows that my soil is very healthy, so that's a really good sign. So we've got 1, 2, I'll put one more in this hole here. Now I'm also going to be putting flowers in this bed, and I'm going to do that a little bit later on. I'm going to probably plant a further 20 leeks after today, but I'm going to see what the bed looks like, and then I'm going to choose what companion flowers to go in. I quite like to see bees and things like that flying around the allotment, so we'll probably plant something with a bit of colour. That's going to draw some wildlife in. Speaking of wildlife, we've had some other little visitors have arrived at the allotment this week. We had some rabbits have moved in. They've moved under the decking area. It's quite a strange choice of somewhere to live because I have 2 lurchers and they're not particularly friendly towards rabbits. So good luck to the rabbits. They are welcome to be here as long as they're not munching things. Right, so I'll just put my line on. Actually, I'm just going to use my eye here because I'm planting quite a low volume of leeks at the moment. So I'm putting my 2 big daddies in, and I'm putting a row of leeks that's going to mature end of July, August, and then I'm going to dot some more thinner leeks in a little bit later. So I'm going to have leeks available at various different times. And I've mentioned before that I think that as soon as something looks half edible, get it eaten. Obviously it's nice to keep the symmetry of a vegetable bed, but in reality it's about having some produce on your kitchen table. Now then, this is where it gets interesting. I've got some monster sunflowers here. I won a competition last year in Durham, tallest sunflower, and it was nearly 20 foot. Okay, now I'm a 6 foot tall man. This specimen here is going to reach 3 times my height. So I've put it in with the leeks for a bit of wow factor. I've got me monster leeks, and now I've put some giant sunflowers in as well. These are definitely going to need supporting. Okay, so I'll make a nice hole, nice firm soil. Actually, there's one more leek to go in here. Just pop that little leek into that little hole. There we go. I'm not infilling again, but what I am going to do is I'm going to drop an absolute monster sunflower right into the middle of these leeks. As you can see, the soil is very loose, which means the roots don't need to work too hard to establish themselves. One thing I absolutely must do with this though is to get it quite well down, because as I've said, this sunflower I think will grow between 18 and 20 foot. I'm going to have to put in some major supports to make it work, to make this grow. And this is all about fun for the kids. That's going to grow a couple of inches every single day. If I pop out to work on a morning, when I come back on a night, I'll notice the difference. It'll be that radical. I'm pressing it in hard to give as much chance of survival. If you get a strong wind, it's going to snap it without any shadow of a doubt. Okay, so I'm putting in a pole, and a little bit further down the line, and I'm not joking here, I might have to put some scaffolding in. Okay, might have to put some sort of wooden structure in place and tie it. Okay, so that plant there is going to grow to about 2.5 times the height of that bamboo cane. So a lot of fun. Right, I think I'll put another one of those in the middle. And these plants as well arouse a lot of interest from passers-by, as do the leeks. Okay, so gonna dig nice and down, get this really deep into the ground. In terms of pests, there's nothing really attacks leeks. It's all looking good. Okay, icing on the cake now. I've got some Rosso lettuce. Okay, I could eat that today, it's ready. I actually, believe it or not, put that in October. It stood all winter. You would imagine lettuce to be the most destructible, easily damaged thing in the garden. It's in fact the opposite. A lettuce is the most robust of any salad, legume and vegetable of anything. Rabbits and pests do like it, but if you haven't got a problem with that, then this is going to stand really well for you, but you must get it eaten as soon as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it into the gaps here, because this bed has got lots more to go in it, and I'm going to keep adding interesting plants to it. So this is not just going to be of vegetables, it's going to be an array of fine colour, varying heights, leeks with varying levels of maturity. So we've got our 6-month-old leeks there. We've got our leeks here which are possibly about 3 months old. And then we've got these lettuces here that I've actually dug out of the bed next to it, and I'm retransplanting them into this bed for ornamental purposes. So this bed is going to be a real sort of interesting stop off point. Anybody's coming to the garden, they're going to have a look. Gardens are different things to different people. For me, it's a place to relax, but I also think I quite like the order and things like that as well. Now I've got one more leek, got one more lettuce. Where shall I put it? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it right at the back wall there. Why not? And the last thing to do, of course, when you put any new vegetable in the ground is to give it a good drink. Welcome it into the world, welcome it to your garden with a nice drink, and you're really flooding these leeks. There's nothing leeks like more than a good drink. And speaking of drink, I'm nearly due one myself. I think it's almost time to go for a pint. Give them as much water as you can. Looks like we've got a bit of rain on our way. And I'm going to plant leeks, another 15 on either side, on the outside, and I'm going to be putting more flowers in further down the line. So thanks for tuning in, and see you again soon.